So we're coming up on 24 hours since I got word that we are going to be needing to move from this farm where I have spent the past 20 years building the program that has become Bramblewood Stables. Before that, this farm was Foxcroft, and it was built for Jennifer Jones, who was a British instructor in the 70s, and she created Pony Club as we know it for this area. And she still has so many people who come and remember her and walk around and have homecomings coming to the barn. But I'm going to put this down so I can talk better and think better. Now that the initial shock, we're about 24 hours since learning the news, and now that initial shock is starting to absorb inside of me, and just kind of like my body wanted to reject it. Like, that's not real. That's not happening. And it woke up this morning, I'd forgotten about it in sleep. And then when I got up this morning, I remembered again. And it was the same feeling I have when somebody that I deeply love has passed. And this barn is not just the structure that holds it. This farm is not just the structure that holds it. This entire place is here because of the community that we've built. And I don't want to lose sight of that in my own personal grief. I'm going to be coming on here a lot and talking just so that I can keep everybody informed, so that you can hear my voice and know that I'm not giving up. We're going to find another home for Bramblewood. And already so many people are coming together across the freaking world to try to make that happen. And we have so many immensely gifted people with so many different specialties that bringing all of those minds together is going to take us somewhere fantastic. But I just don't know where that is quite yet. And not knowing where we're heading is really hard for me, because I'm a good barn manager. I want to know what's happening. So I'm going to be checking in with you a lot.
One viewer commented, "This isn't by accident, but by design. The same corporate vultures buying up the land are friends with Trump and the right." This comment reflects a deep sense of mistrust and frustration about the way farmland is changing hands. The viewer is suggesting that what is happening to small farmers is not simply the result of bad luck or market forces, but something planned or encouraged by powerful interests. The phrase corporate vultures shows anger at large companies and investors who can swoop in to buy land when family farms are struggling. By linking these buyers to political figures, the commenter is highlighting a belief that policies and relationships between government and big business are working against ordinary people. Whether or not every detail is accurate, the emotion behind this reaction is very real. It captures how many people see a widening gap between everyday workers and the powerful institutions shaping their lives. This kind of statement resonates because it frames the loss of farmland not as a random event, but as part of a bigger system where profit and influence often outweigh the interests of local communities and family traditions. One viewer commented, "Does she realize that this is because of Trump's tariffs?" This comment comes across as a burst of frustration and disbelief. The viewer is emphasizing that the struggles farmers are facing are closely tied to Trump's tariffs. When those tariffs were placed on imported goods, other countries responded with their own, which hit American agriculture especially hard. Many U.S. farmers suddenly found it harder to sell their crops overseas, prices dropped, and some were left with heavy losses. The tone here shows impatience with people who might overlook that connection or fail to see the long-term impact of those policies. It also reflects how emotionally charged the topic has become, especially for those who live in farming communities. The viewer is not just criticizing a political decision, but expressing how that decision affected real families, real jobs, and entire rural towns. It's a reminder that economic policies often have ripple effects that reach far beyond headlines and political debates. A viewer shared this thought. "This is what America farmers want. That's why they voted for it." This comment uses sarcasm to point out a sense of irony. The viewer is suggesting that some of the farmers who are now facing difficulties may have supported the very policies that contributed to their problems. It reflects a frustration often seen in political discussions when people feel that voters do not always connect their choices to the outcomes that follow. The tone is sharp but also thought-provoking. highlighting the tension between loyalty to political figures and the real effects of their decisions. It suggests that while intentions may have been good, the results turned out differently than expected. This type of reaction is common when economic hardships begin to touch everyday life, reminding everyone how closely tied politics and personal well-being can be. Someone left a comment. After they take their farms, they will allow the immigrants to come back. This comment reflects a deep concern about both economic and social changes happening in the country. The viewer seems to believe that once local farmers lose their land, larger corporations or outside investors will step in and reshape the agricultural landscape, possibly bringing in immigrant labor to replace displaced workers. It suggests frustration with a system that appears to favor profit over community stability. Beneath the surface, the comment also shows how issues like immigration, labor, and land ownership are deeply connected in public opinion. Many people feel that small farmers are being pushed out while powerful interests gain control, leaving ordinary workers with fewer opportunities. Whether this view is entirely accurate or not, it captures a strong feeling of distrust toward those in charge and fear of losing traditional American farming values. It speaks to a growing sense that the people who built the land are being left behind in decisions that affect their future. Someone wrote in the comments, "And yet they voted for him again. Amazing." This comment questions why some voters decided to support Trump a second time, despite the difficulties they experienced under his policies. The viewer seems to feel disbelief that people would overlook the negative effects on farmers and still trust the same leadership. It reflects a larger debate about loyalty, hope, and the desire for change. Many Americans vote based on identity, tradition, or the belief that things might improve the next time around. Others may have felt there were no better alternatives. The comment captures that mix of frustration and confusion seen across the country when results do not seem to match expectations. It also shows how emotional and complex political decisions can be, especially when people must choose between economic hardship and faith in a leader they once believed would protect them. One American shared this opinion. They intentionally doing this so they can buy the land at low price, so at the end the owners were screwed. This comment reflects deep distrust toward those in power and the systems controlling the economy. The viewer believes that what is happening to farmers is not just the result of poor policy, but a deliberate strategy. The idea is that by forcing landowners into financial hardship, wealthy investors or corporations can buy their property for far less than it is worth. This feeling of manipulation resonates strongly in rural communities where people have seen generations of hard work erased by rising costs and market pressures. The tone carries anger but also sadness, as it suggests that fairness has been replaced by greed. Many Americans share this sense that ordinary citizens no longer have a voice in decisions that shape their livelihoods. Whether or not every detail is true, the comment taps into a real fear that small farmers are losing control over the land that once defined their independence and identity. A commenter expressed it this way, "And the huge food corporations are buying farms on the cheap. Next phase, food monopolies where they set the prices and supply." This comment highlights a growing concern about the concentration of power in the food industry. The viewer is warning that as large corporations buy up struggling farms, they could end up controlling not just production, but also prices and availability. It reflects a fear that once independent farmers are gone, consumers and smaller producers will have no choice but to accept whatever terms those corporations set. The statement captures a broader anxiety about corporate dominance and the loss of local control over essential resources. Many people see this trend as part of a larger pattern where profit and efficiency are valued more than fairness or sustainability. The comment also raises an important question about the future of food security and competition. If one group controls the supply chain from farm to shelf, the balance of power shifts entirely away from ordinary people. It is a sharp reminder that the struggle of farmers today could affect everyone who depends on affordable food tomorrow. One viewer remarked, "So great that these people who voted to make America great again are getting their wish." This comment uses irony to express frustration about the situation. The viewer is pointing out that some of the people who supported the promise to make America great again are now facing the negative results of the policies they once believed in. The tone suggests both disbelief and criticism, implying that the outcomes do not match the expectations that were created during the campaign. It reflects a broader sentiment seen across many discussions, where people feel that political slogans often sound appealing, but fail to protect everyday workers and small business owners. The comment also reveals a sense of disappointment in how easily trust can be misplaced when voters hope for change. It serves as a reminder that big promises often come with real consequences, especially when they affect jobs, homes, and the stability of entire communities. Someone pointed out, "Is she selling to J.D. Vance? From what I understand, he's buying up the farms." This comment raises suspicion about who might be benefiting from the struggles farmers are facing. The viewer mentions J.D. Vance, a political figure and businessman, suggesting that people connected to politics could be taking advantage of the situation to buy land at low prices. It reflects a common concern that those in or near positions of power use their influence to gain control over valuable resources. The tone feels cautious and skeptical, hinting at the belief that behind every major policy or crisis there may be financial interests quietly shaping the outcome. Many viewers share this kind of unease, especially when family farms disappear while investors grow richer. Whether or not this claim is entirely accurate, it captures a widespread fear that politics and profit have become too closely linked, leaving ordinary people struggling while those with connections continue to expand their power.